Alrighty guys, yay! This is what you are going to see by the end of this particular tutorial today. Now, someone was asking me on the Saturday's live, how are we going to join these pieces right here? I'm sorry, I'm in the light, guys. How are we going to join them? Well, that's a little tricky. This is where your math skills are going to have to come in handy. Well, maybe not even. This is where your crochet skills will have to come in handy. Oh, I don't even know if that's the same. I don't even want to say what's going to come in handy. Little bit tricky, but we can do it. I know we can do it because we're smart. Did you like that? We're very clever. All right, I'm not going to talk too much. I just want you to make sure you have your dark green thread. You have all of your pieces that you need for this tutorial, which are here for me. Sorry about the lighting in this area because there's no board, sorry. You will need also your scissors, or you will need those scissors. And yes, I'm afraid you will need that darning, sewing, weaving needle. You will need that definitely. And you will need the same hook that you used to make your pieces. Okay, so that's it guys. I'm not going to talk anymore. We are just going to get started with joining our blocks. Good luck guys. All right, sort out or arrange your blocks the way you want them to go on your blanket. Now this is my arrangement. I'm happy with this. Yep, quite happy. Now you may notice I've got a stitch marker here. Okay, that will be where we're going to initially start later, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to put them all together again once this part here is done, and I'll show you properly again later. But in the meantime, remember how when we crocheted these pieces onto this block right here, that we crocheted around that first hexagon? That is exactly what we're going to do with this piece right here. We are going to do a single crochet around this whole large piece right now. That's the part of the tutorial we're going to be at right now. Then we're going to come back and we're going to mess around with your pieces, all right? But in the meantime, I'm not going to talk too much because this is just going forever. Sorry, guys. So we are going to do this piece right here, right now. Alrighty. For this part, you will need a small amount of yarn, your scissors, your needle, and your hook, okay? In any order you like. Sorry, I'm trying to be funny now. It's not good to be funny because we've got to get serious. Okay, let's get serious. You can start in any corner you like. I'm going to pick one corner. It doesn't matter which one. And we are going to do exactly what we did with our hexagon, our middle hexagon. We're going to do with this corner, like I said. Okay. All right. So we are going to chain one. Easy so far. It is easy so far. Single crochet in that corner once, twice, and you guessed it, 3 times. Just probably might pay to move them all over the way. Now I'm crocheting over that tail. You don't need to. That very first stitch, remember that tight stitch? We're going to pop our single crochet in that stitch, single crochet in the second, single crochet in the third. I'm going to pop that tail into the back now, you don't need to. Single in the fourth, single in the fifth, and I actually crochet over my old tail, again you don't need to. Single in the sixth, and single in the 7th stitch. Alright, so it's 7 across, and then you pop your 3 single crochets in the corner. 1, 2, and 3. Do your 7 down. Now it's going to be different when we get to the bottom of this part. Okay, so just be wary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now this is a part throughout your whole tutorial that you have to be careful that you do right. Otherwise it's going to put your count out. All right, now in this corner you already have the 2 single crochets, yes? So you actually are going to pop your 3rd single crochet in this corner, yes? You still only have 2 in here, and that's going to be opposite 3 of these, so you actually have to make 3. But if you put 1 in each one, that's like 4, 5. So what you're going to do, this is a tricky bit. See the separation right there? You're going to pop your hook in there, pull up a loop. You're going to be crocheting 2 together, Yes, so you've got one. This is still your single crochet. Normally you would pull a loop through. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do now is pop our hook in that next space on the other side of that stitch. Pop the hook in that space, pull up a loop, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pull a loop through all 3 loops on your hook. So what it's done is it's crocheted those two, or that area together as one. So it's made 2 sections, one. Then you're going to jump into that corner and do the 3rd single crochet of that corner. So initially what you have is 1, 2 and 3, and let me grab something. Let's just pretend that's the large piece. Those 3 single crochets in that corner are going to attach to these 3 single crochets here, giving you that effect. All right, now remember that tight stitch, don't miss it or you will be 1 stitch out. So move your stitch over if you have to, single crochet in that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. You should always have, should always have 7 across, okay? No matter where you go, bring that out, 7 that way, 2 in one in each corner, sorry, and then 2 together in there. So it becomes 1, 1, 2 and 3. All right, so 7, 7, 1, 2 and 3. And in every other corner, you have 3 single crochets. All right, so it's basic around the border until you get to that middle bit there. So I'm going to show you one more time. You do your 3, 1, 2 and 3 in that corner. Make sure you get that stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, if you're 1 short, go back and check, because if you're 1 short here, your whole blanket is going to be out of whack. So stay focused on how many stitches you put in this round. Okay, now you put your 3 single crochets in there. Easy this part. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're going down to that dip section right there. Okay, all right, so that stitch right there, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Yes, now here's your corner. This is really separated mine, so I might find that it's going to be quite a big gap in between. So we must keep it close so it doesn't look gappy, all right? But for now, you put your first single crochet in the corner. Now these are the 2 that you need to join together, remember? So you find a space, pull up a loop on this side, find a space on the opposite side, pull up a loop. Now, to help you so it doesn't gap, just give this part here a little bit of a tight tug and then pull the loop through all 3 loops on your hook. It's closed up that gap a bit. We're going to pop a single crochet in there. So it's kind of closed it all up for me, okay? Single crochet in your stitch, don't forget that stitch, and all the way across. All right, so I'm going to leave you here because otherwise this tutorial is going to take like a gazillion years. Continue in the round, get to here, and wait for me there, the last 2 stitches. Now, if you are having trouble in the corners, just go back and watch these little corners right here. All right, so just re-watch what you've seen, get to there, meet me up, and get ready for the next part. Alrighty, here we are at the end of the row. I have 2 single crochets left there. Now, silly me, started with a 3 single crochet. I should have started with 2 so that I can add that 3rd in. It doesn't matter, it just means we slip stitch into the very first one we did. That's all, it's no big deal. And just pop that loop through like that, pull up a loop, whoops, pull up a loop, and now you're going to cast off, okay? Here, because this piece is done, all right? Now, if you wanted to, you could weave in your ends. I'm going to leave mine till later because it's a very, like I said, a very big tutorial and I don't want to muck around. Now we grab our other blocks, okay? So go grab them and let's sort out where to put them. All right, so there it is. Okay, it's a little bit messy for me. It doesn't matter, as long as you can see where we are going to start. So grab your color pieces, put them together the way you want. This is the way I like mine together. And then join me here right now, this very second, and we will pop stitch markers in our little pieces right there. See, there's one there. Okay, so I'm going to have to do this. It's going to be very fiddly, guys. I'm very sorry, because I can't work the stand out at the same time as working the stitch markers. So I'm going to be using one hand. Watch me, I'm ambidextrous. We'll see how we go. So you're popping a stitch marker there, and you're going to pop a stitch marker in the middle here, and in that opposite orange piece there. That's all I want you to do right now. Okay, then you can actually take this stitch marker out of the pink one. I'm trying to be ambidextrous, it's not working. So take the pink one off. You can actually move that pink one out the way. Move all your other ones out the way as well. For now, just for now, we can pop them all back together again later. Bring your two pieces down. Whoops, I did not put that together properly, did I? It's there. I'm very clumsy. Bring it down here, and these are the two pieces that you're going to work with, and you're going to start your row there, get to here, and do your normal join like we usually do when we're doing these. So we're going to do that right now. All right, guys, here we'll just move everything out the way so you can see. Just going to go over to that orange piece. Leave the green one attached if you like. Okay. We're just going to go over to the orange piece. The green one attached just reminds you where you're going to start connecting your blocks. All right, so your first part is right here. I'm trying not to have anything in the way because it kind of blurs everything up for you. All right, so now what you're going to do, pop your hook in where your stitch marker is, pull out your stitch marker, pull your loop through, and do your usual stuff. Just lock it all into place, whatever you do to start your rows. Chain up one, give it a nice tight tug, and single crochet one there. Okay, single crochet two. Okay, single crochet, remember that first stitch, we're doing one. I'm crocheting over my tail end, you don't need to. In there, 1, 2, 3, 4, crocheting over this end, you don't need to, 5, 6, and 7. All right, let's bring this up a little, because this part again is a little tricky, but you can get it done. Oh, this part's not, sorry. Just do your 3 single crochets in that corner. It's a foundation corner that'll attach to another piece, so you need to do 3. And then you do your single crochet in that stitch. Remember the first stitch, don't miss it. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then you do a single crochet in that piece right there. Remember that single crochet join 2 together? We're going to do that again. Pop your hook in, pull up a loop, keep it nice and tug this area because this is thick and it will keep it open, okay, and you don't want that. Pop your hook in the other side, yes, and pull a loop through all 3 loops on your hook. Pop a single crochet in that corner, and then do your normal 7 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, you are in the corner where we are going to be attaching our green. All right, so this is a tricky bit. Now be careful not to attach it that way and then you're going the wrong way. The way it is, You're going to start crocheting down here and across like that. Not down here and over this way. You're going to be all confused and everything's going to be muddled, right? Pop it this way. First thing you're going to do is just pop a single crochet in that corner, one, and that's it. All right, I know it's not it, it's just one. Then we're going to pop a second single crochet. Now with your second single crochet, you pull up a loop, you come to your other side of your green where your stitch marker is. Take that stitch marker out. Don't move your green, otherwise you're going to get confused, this part here. Go to this side of your piece, find your middle single crochet 1, single crochet 2, all right? So grab, this is really important to get this corner right, because if you don't, your work is going to be all crooked and out of whack, all right? So grab your loop on the other side, grab a tail, oops. Grab your loop on the other side. Just pull it through that single crochet. Now remember, this is your second single crochet in the corner. Your first was there, your second is there, and this is your third for this corner. Now the first we haven't joined, we're going to join that at the very end, okay? So pull up that loop, jump into that next or the last corner stitch. Yes. Single crochet in your stitch. This is your 7 stitches. 1, and there's your 1. Try not to skip any stitches, it'll put your blanket out of whack. 2, way out of whack. 3, 4. It's a little bit awkward here, guys, because I have to work with the work in front of me so you can see where things are going, and because of it, it kind of blurs the camera a bit, so I do apologize. Okay, so back in the opposite side, right there. 4. Now this is 5. I'm not going to crochet over that tail end while you guys are watching, because I want you to see the stitch. 5, opposite into the 5th, my tail end, sorry guys, 6, your opposite 6, 7, and your opposite 7. Right, see that opposite 7 there? It has to match up with the 7 you just did. All right, that's how you know it's worked. If it doesn't match up, redo this corner again, okay? Then you do 1 single crochet in the corner. This is a tricky bit. There's your 1 single crochet, the first one on the opposite side. A second single crochet in the corner. And now you're picking up that middle bit. Remember when we did the join, the 2 double crochets together? You're going to pop your hook in there and pull the loop through. It's not tricky, you just have to make sure you get the right stitch. I think I just pulled a stitch, I'm sorry. I just pulled the thread. I don't know if you saw that, but we're going to do another one anyway. 3rd single crochet in that corner, pull up a loop, and there is your 3rd in that opposite corner right there. All right, I'm going very slow guys for you, but I can pick up speed. I just don't want to. I don't want to confuse you. I'll pick up speed in about the next section. How's that? So there's 1, there's your first one right there, remember? Maybe don't do your loops as high as mine. It takes too long to pull back through. And there's your opposite, being careful not to miss the stitch. Next one, I'm forgetting to count, but we'll get to the end and hopefully you're counting. I'm just used to doing them now. I've been practicing non-stop for the past 2 days to get this right because I hadn't worked out those spare pieces, your half hexagons, but I know what we're doing with that, and I'll show you that at the end of this round, okay? When we've put all the blocks together, and then I'll show you what we're doing with the half hexies and your spare greens, 6 green, light green hexagons, okay? We're on our last stitch there. I know you're probably ahead of me. I'm taking my time. Sorry, guys. Pop it through there, that last stitch. And now we are actually in our corner. Okay, single crochet in the corner. Pull up a loop. So there's your 3 single crochets in the corner. Nice tight stitch that I have there. Pull that loop through. All right, now this is where we've got our join again. I'll get a nice close up for you. Pop your hook in the join, pull up your loop, pop it in the opposite join, not the opposite join, sorry, the one next to it, and pull a loop through. Then you get to your middle corner stitch and you pull the loop through your middle corner stitch. Then you do your next corner. Whoops, don't do that too loose. Pull it through. Then you do it through your last corner stitch. Okay? Then you single crochet in your stitch and single crochet in your opposite stitch there. All right? So they should all marry up. If they haven't, you've got a stitch count wrong. Okay? There's probably no way you can fudge this part. Sometimes I make my tutorials where you can actually fudge it a little bit, add an extra stitch. It may not work because you are joining your hexagons. I've just twisted the yarn there. You are joining your hexagon blocks. So if you try to fudge it, it might bubble in the middle, okay? It works when you're doing a normal basic stitch, but once you're joining in the round, fudging is not going to work, I'm afraid. So I hate to burst your bubble there. All right, so you've seen this part before, so I'm going to crochet over that thread. You don't need to. Okay, and your second last stitch for that side. Second last stitch for that side, right there. Your last stitch for that side. And your last stitch for this side, and hold it here when you pull it through. Hold it here. Just hold it here. We won't even do the corners because I want to show you the corners with your other piece. So far, that is what you have. All right. So when you take, this is where we were. We came down this way. We went around here. When you come back around with your next hexagon, you'll crochet your last round here. You won't know that until later. It won't show until later, but let's just quickly put our pieces together. I'm going to stop this for a second and put them together and come back. So go ahead and pop all your pieces, your blocks together, and meet me back here in a second. All right, guys, I'm kind of a little bit messy, but you pretty much get the gist of it. Now what you need to do is you need to grab your stitch marker. Yes. Pop it right up the top there and there. I'm trying to do this while holding the camera. I need a cameraman today or a camera lady. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Popping your stitch marker there. You don't need to pop it here because this is where we're going to be working. All right. If it helps you to pop it there, you can. It's not necessary because we're just going to be moving everything else out of the way now, like that. Exactly what we did before. And then all you're doing is moving your work down. Whoops, move it down this way. And you're going to start from there. And I will show you what you're going to do. Actually, you know what? It is better. Pop another one in here, just on this side right there. Yes. And pop this one in the opposite green. Take that out of the orange. Whoops, trying to do it with one hand. And just leave it on the pink. All right, well, that worked. How about that? So leave it dangling on the pink. This is all going to be dangling while I'm working. And I want yours to dangle as well. It will be a little bit awkward, but the reason is I want you to remember where to join it. And if you can't remember, you can always go back on the video. If you lose your stitch markers or whatever, go back on the video and just see this part here. All right, so now we're going to start joining. All right, so where we were here on our green, okay, let's go back, a green and now orange. Now, if you want, you could leave that there. That's why I popped it sort of away from the corner so you can have a look-see. Now we're going to blow this up. This may come across a little blurry because that's kind of in the way. Really should be out of the way while we're doing this part, but I didn't want you to get confused and lose your spot, okay? All right, now we hadn't started our corner, had we? Okay, so what we're going to do is do a single crochet in the first corner. Pull up your loop, go to your first corner on this side right here, pull the loop through. Second single crochet in the corner, going to your second single crochet in that corner, the opposite corner, pull your loop through. Now this is where we stop. Give this one a bit of a tug because you don't want this to be loose. Pop your third single crochet in that corner right there. Then you're going to start your orange row. Okay, this is your foundation row to join to the other side. So just go ahead and do your 7 across here, like so. Then you do your 3 in the corner for the foundation to join to the opposite side. Then you do your 1 in there, well I should say your 7 across again, or your 7 down now because we're going to get to that join, that middle join that it's kind of a little awkward, and we join 2 single crochets together. But it works for this part, trust me. I did the whole piece twice. The first time wasn't enough and I pulled it undone twice. This is the third time I'm doing this part because I wanted to be so sure that this would work, and it does. Now, just heads up, so you know, yours truly, and I don't have to tell you this, but I will, I accidentally did 3 single crochets on this, and I don't want to take it undone. So I'm just going to go over it. It might make my work a little bulky, but I'm going to go over it. So first you put your first single crochet in the corner, then you do your half single crochet. See how bulky that's going to be for me? You don't have to do that. Do your, not half single crochets, do your join 2 single crochets together, then jump into your corner like you've been doing all along with your green block, and then you do your normal 7 single crochets up. But when you get to that 7th one, stop there because I'm going to talk again quickly about what we're doing next. Right there, there, 1 more, there. All right, so stop what you're doing, bring it out again. Let's have a look see. So this is where you are at the moment. Coolio. Now, that means we're ready to join to that pink, and then that pink will be joining all the way down to there. So it's exactly like you were doing your small hexagons, but we're doing it in a larger version, and we are joining those 2 together. But when we get here, we are joining those 2 together, and when we get there, we are joining those together. You've got to remember to put your 2 together in there, 2 together in there, and eventually you'll do 2 together other places, and it'll be very confusing for a little while. Let's turn the work this way a little bit. All right, because we are now initially going to work down that way. All right. Oh, not yet. We still haven't done our corner. I'm sorry. We better put our 2 single crochets in the corner. So 1 and 2. Yes. Oh gosh, don't lose a stitch like I just did. There. All right. Now, keep that there so it reminds you where you're going, just in case you mess up this and you take this out wrong. Okay. So you take this out. If you want to leave it in and start, it might pay to do that in case you accidentally start going that way which can happen. And then you don't know what you've done. So grab your single crochet and pop it through there and do a normal single crochet in your corner. I'm sorry, it's far away, guys. I do apologize. Do your normal single crochet in that corner there. All right. Go back to that stitch before that you just did, like you do in every edge when you're joining your hexagons, and just pull your loop through that first single crochet. Now we do our second single crochet in that corner. Pull up your loop and pop it in the opposite stitch, like so. Now if you want, you can actually remove that stitch marker, because you know where you're going. I find them really awkward in my hands. They really annoy me. So you know where you're going now. Still keep that stitch marker there so you know when to stop. All right, so remember that first stitch? We go into that first stitch as we've been doing all along. Go into your opposite side. I'm sorry I went out of frame there. I do apologize, guys. I keep doing that. Single crochet there. Opposite side. There. Opposite side. Okay. It is a difficult join, okay? Well, no, it's not difficult. It's just remembering where you put your stitch, and also remembering your count, making sure your count is not out of whack. If all of that marries up, the rest of the blanket should be easy to do, okay? Again, not a beginner's blanket. I should have thought of that before I started. I do apologize for all you beginners out there. But you know what, beginners, there is a hexagon blanket coming, just one large hexagon, and we're going to do a tiny little border on it. It's going to look cute, okay? That's your first stitch in the corner. Pull up your loop. Okay, now there's your first corner stitch on the opposite side. It belongs into this space here. Pull the loop through. Your second corner there. Pull up your loop. Your middle stitch here. Pull a loop through that middle stitch that we created. And your third stitch, whoops, third stitch, try third stitch, is the actual third stitch in that corner. So there you go. Nice tight stitch there. Pull that loop through. And then you go into your normal single crochet, that tight stitch. Remember that tight stitch that we always tend to forget sometimes, or I do anyway. That's what's been putting my count out of whack, forgetting that stitch. There. Opposite. Opposite. Okay, just keep going. Right, I hope your hexagons are coming out very nicely, guys. I'm loving the colours that I've chosen, but I would love to see your colours. If you want to post your hexagon on Wow Crochet's page on Facebook, you can. There is a community section that you can post your pictures to, and that would be great. Or you can wait until your blanket is finished and then you can show me there when it's done. Just being careful when you're doing these stitches not to leave it too loose. Okay, I've just noticed some of mine are very loose. Don't leave it too loose, and also don't be too tight, otherwise you can't get into the stitches. My single crochet side is tight, and then when I join them, it's a little loose. All right, we're at this corner here. We're going to do one in the corner, one in your opposite corner. Now, before you do the opposite corner, you need to do your two together in here. 1, 2, give it a nice tight tug because you don't want that to be too loose, that stitch. Go to the opposite stitch there, the second one in the corner. Now do your third single crochet in the next corner. Opposite this corner here is your last single crochet for that corner. All right, and then you just go into your stitches like normal. All right, so you need to do 7 all the way down. All right, now, before we continue, it's getting a bit tight there with that stitch marker. We're going to take that stitch marker out. You don't need it there anyway, because you know this is the corner we're going to stop in. All right, we're not going to stop, we're going to continue, but it's a very awkward corner. All right, and I've got a little thread here that's going to annoy me while I'm doing this corner. Toss it down there. All right, because I can do that, I can move this out the way. All right, so I'm still going down the stitch, so I'm in my next stitch there, and your next corresponding orange. I say orange stitch even though it's green because it's part of the orange hexagon. Pull that through, and that's your last stitch there. All right, the opposite last stitch right there. There's your corner. All right, corner 1. A little bit tricky now. Corner. All right, so what you've got here, very tricky. You've got 1 single crochet there, 1 here, and then you've got your middle section here. So pop your hook in your first single crochet, pull that loop through. Yes. Second single crochet, pull up a loop. So I would say go right under, grab your loop, pull it through, and do your third single crochet in the corner there. Then go right over to here, and there is your third single crochet from your previous crocheting earlier in the round. Pull that through, get into your stitch, and there is the stitch to the opposite side of the green. Okay. Pop that there. Just get to the end of this row, and then we'll see where we're at. We won't start the corner. Okay, nearly there. 2 more stitches. I might find that my stitching is starting to become a little tight, but that's okay. You know, just be wary. All right, just pop that up for a second. You're at the end of your row here. You have to join this corner, get to here, and then you remember how we got to here and then we came up and then we turned and added this piece? That's exactly what you're going to do here. It's a little bit tight in here, but it's already starting to fall into place. Gorgeous, check it out. I know, right? I know. Now, we're going to go through here. We're going to get to that corner. We're going to do 2 single crochets there, 2 across here. Then we're going to go in and do a 3rd one in there and keep going until we get to that top. In fact, what I would like you to do right now, just quickly, is pop a stitch marker. See there? You can put it in there if you like. Actually, it's probably a good idea to do that because then at least you know where you're going. You don't need to do this. I'm just, you know, trying to make it easier for you. So grab your, I'm not even going to do that. We'll do it here. Take it out of there. There, I know when to stop. All right, so continue along the way. Can't remember what we did now. We got to here. We pulled it through, yes. And now we're going to do our corner. So your first corner is there. Stitch 1. Now this is your first stitch in this corner here, your first corner from this side of your hexagon. Pull that loop through. Now we're doing your second stitch, which is going to be pulled through to the middle. Now you can pop it through there or you can pop it through the whole thing. You know what, it's really thick. I might just pop it through there. You could do it any way you like. It doesn't really matter. It won't be that visible anyway. I wouldn't stress too much. And there's your third stitch. Pull that loop up. Go to your opposite corner. pull it through. So your corners are now filled up. You go into your first stitch, that tight stitch, find your opposite stitch there, and work your way across. Okay, so what I want you to do now, just work your way into that piece right there, because otherwise we're going to take forever if you sit there and watch me. Get to that stitch marker there just before the corner and meet me up. All right, are you up to your stitch marker? Easy, easy. Pop your, oh, I'm sorry, again. Pop your single crochet, your first one in the corner. Yes. Grab your opposite corner for your first single crochet. Do your second single crochet. Grab your opposite corner, second single crochet. Now, you do your third one in the pink and you go across the pink. You don't continue anywhere near green. Okay, so go all the way across the pink. As you can see, I'm going very fast. You don't need to. I'm just doing this because I want to get you started, and then you're going to head off on your own and do the next 4, whatever it is, hexagons, 4. I can't remember how many there were now. Blocks. So don't forget to put 3 single crochets in your corner. Got the hiccups again, sorry guys. Excuse me. To stop soon to get a drink. All right. And you're coming to your section here where you're crocheting the 2 together. You're coming up to that very shortly. All right, here we are. Once again, I've put 3 single crochets in this and I shouldn't have, okay? So that's going to be quite bulky for me. If you've done 3 as well, oh, sorry guys. This will be bulky for you too. But anyway, single crochet in the corner. Pop your hook into your, pop that there so I can crochet over it. Into your first side. Pop your hook into the second side. And you're crocheting the 2 together. And then 1 single crochet in that corner, 1 in your stitch, that tight stitch, don't forget it, all the way until you get to your next side. Okay. Okay, so this is where we are at the moment. Now, you are going to head off on your own. Grab your next colour. Do exactly what we did here. See where the 2 are? You're going to add your little stitch. In fact, we can do it now. Add the stitch markers, if it helps. Pop it. You don't even need to pop that one there. You know you're going to pop that there. And then just pop this one over here, like this. All right? There you go. Too easy? Too easy. All right? So now we're going to start this side. Oh, I hope this is the right colour. I think it is. If it's not, I'll change it mine. But I'm only starting you off. Then you're going to head off on your own. All right? So you pop a single crochet here, 1 and 2 in the corner. Then you turn your work like so. Make sure your stitch markers and everything's all lined up. Go to your opposite section. Do your opposite single crochet there. Pull up your loop. Go back to the opposite side. And do a second single crochet. Grab the opposite side and pull the loop through. And hop into your stitch. I'm going to stop it there. You are now going to head off on your own, be brave, and do this whole row. Get to that stitch marker right there, right? And wait for me there and get ready for the next step. Ta-da! So this, I can't even fit it all in anymore. This is what you should have. So you're going to grab your very next colour and pop it there, like so. And you're going to pop your stitch markers in, which we're going to do. Then you're going to grab your, oh, I don't know what I've done here. Next colour, and you're going to pop it there, and then so on. And that is what you are going to do all the way through the rest of your blanket. I'm not going to sit here and do it with you. I'm going to let you head off on your own. However, when you get to the end of your work, which is all the way up here, let's pretend that's done. Pop the pink in there. All right, so you get to here, you get to right to this very top right here. Yes, don't cast off. Get there, wait for me there, and we were going to do something else. All right, so I'm not exactly sure where you are. I stopped short from the work because I messed around with this a few times thinking, what have I done wrong? There's nothing I've done wrong. It's just the stretching of that center. And I'm thinking you may have the same problem. So I've gone into that last stitch. I've pulled it through the corresponding stitch. And now I'm going to pop my first single crochet in the corner. Now let me get a nice close up of this section here and why it looks a little tricky. That is your first stitch. That is the middle. And believe it or not, that is your second stitch. It's just really stretched over. So what you're going to do, you've done your first stitch, grab your first stitch through, like so. Yes. Single crochet your second stitch. So what you're really initially doing is single crocheting these two together, but just pop it in the middle, like so. Like that. Do your third single crochet like that. Oops, don't lose a stitch like I just did. Now that looks like a single crochet, but it actually isn't. You're popping it in there. I know it looks like it. It was just when we pulled it through a little bit too loose, or I did anyway. I'm not sure about yourselves. I pulled it through very loose. So there you go. Do your stitch there and your next stitch. Okay, and your next. Yeah, it was just pulling a little bit. I'm hoping that yours wasn't as bad as mine, that gap there. I'll have a quick look, see in a minute. Do your next stitch. Do your next stitch. Just pull up that loop for a minute. We'll just have a quick look, see. Oh no, it's not bad at all. There you go. And I was right, it was just pulling in the center. So just be wary that you're not putting it in the wrong stitch like I was. 3 times I did it, and I'm thinking, what have I done wrong? But I haven't. It was just pulling in the center, so it looked like there were 3 single crochets there, when initially there were only 2. Okay, they were just a little bit bulky. That's that very last join that you came to. The very last middle join, I should say, because you still have your side joins. Whoops, did I put it in the right spot? Oh, I did there. Okay, all good. Okay, so just continue along the road. This is like a home stretch, guys. Yay. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. Bring that down a bit. That's better. Now you can see. All right, we're near the end now. We've got a few stitches left. All right, first corner, there. Now you've got 2 single crochets here. You're popping 1, the first one in there. Your second corner here. And we're in. All right, so pull that loop through like so. Okay, and just pull a normal loop through. Give your work a cut. I've cut mine before, just made that pretend noise. Pull your loop through and give it a tug. All right, so there we are. Okay, so have a look at my little pieces that we've got here. This is the part where you guys are up to. You're up to making these tiny little bits here. Okay, so what we did was we cast off our thread here, because what I was going to do was start doing your single crochets in the round and then adding those later. We're going to do this part first and attach it to here, cast it off, then we're going to do a full row of single crochet. That's about the only way I think will work. It will still look great. It'll look amazing. I actually have done it already and pulled it undone, as you do. So it does look great.